I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling on my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
When Cup Series drivers are asked what event do they have on their bucket list to take part in, some will say the historic race, the Southern 500 at Darlington. Others will talk about the Brickyard 400 at the Yard of Bricks Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But collectively, every driver will say they want to be at the World Center of Racing in the biggest event in racing history, the Great American Race Daytona 500. 4 hopefuls vying for the final 2 available spots in this season's Daytona 500 in Season 8 of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Good evening, everybody. I'm Seth Cole. We just moments ago wrapped up our qualifying session for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers. We'll see them back on track later on tonight for their first points-paying race of the season, but we've got to set ourselves the starting lineup for the Great American Race Daytona 500. We kick things off with the non-charter drivers. 2 drivers, the top 2 fastest in this session, will move on and take part in the official qualifying session, where we will see all 42 drivers that will be participating in tomorrow night's season opener, trying to run for the pole position, the outside of the front row, and the subsequent 3rd through 42nd starting positions. The 2 drivers that failed to qualify here in this knockout queue, they will obviously either, some of them will be trying again next week at Manassas, or it may be a while till we see some of these other drivers. We'll go through those 4 drivers. A couple of them we actually saw in the Clash last week at the LA Coliseum, but we will see who it is that's going to be advancing or not. It will be interesting to see also, I believe we have 2 Fords, 1 Mazda, 1 Toyota. So the Blue Ovals do have a little bit of an advantage where they could go out, work together in tandem. You're going to want to have a drafting partner. We'll see if they go out in a group or a duo perhaps, and maybe try and make sure that they absolutely get the draft lap needed to be either first or second on the speed charts at the conclusion of this session to lock themselves into the Daytona 500. Now, the second round, where we have 42 drivers on track, they will have 20 minutes. These 4 drivers only going to have an expedited 10 minutes, and as of right now, nobody making a move off of pit road. There's our first driver stepping out, and that's going to be the number 43 of Mike Tellier. Tellier going to be running a number of races, or attempting to qualify for a number of races this season in the number 43 Dark Horse Mustang out of Bishop Family Racing. We saw last year Mike Tellier attempt to qualify for the Daytona 500, also in a Bishop Family Racing entry, but they were the 17 at the time. And he not only made the show, but he showed out, bringing it home inside of the top 10. And what was his first Cup Series start in 2 seasons. He ran full-time in the 5th season with Nick Gunther and Anthony McCrory. Was actually a winner that season in the finale at Homestead, Miami. We saw last week, we talked about this brand new car where they've got the spoiler for added downforce. Also have 6 gears in the car. I don't know if they're going to jump up to 6th gear here this week. 4th gear high enough that they're reaching upwards of 215 to 220 miles per hour just by themselves. As Tellier crosses the line, we can now bring up your ticker and start to see some speed scrolling across the board. As you can see, we're nearing 7 minutes still left in the session. 3 minutes already gone of their allotted time. We'll keep tabs on the speeds of Mike Tellier, as right now he's the only one that's turned a lap at a 40.950. Mike Tellier, later on this evening, a full-time driver in lights, will be rolling off the grid in 18th place. Autumn Brooks, the Mazda out of Garage 55. We've been documenting ever since last week. She's going to run full-time in both Cup and Lights. However, she will only earn points in Lights. She'll be attempting to qualify for all the races here in Cup to gain experience. Autumn Brooks tonight will be rolling off 28th in the Light Series race. But she will attempt to make her first career points-paying start. We've seen her in a couple of non-points events in the Cup Series, including the All-Star Open last season and the Clash last week. Charles Belding makes his return to the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. First time we've seen him in a Next Gen car, however. I believe it was Season 3 or Season 4 was the last time that we saw him in the Cup Series. And he's driving the number 91 Krispy Kreme Toyota out of Fortnite Squad Racing. This ride will have numerous drivers behind the wheel. Andrew Miller has been rumored to be in that car for a few of the road courses and a couple of the northeast-based racetracks, such as Dover and Pocono. Right now, Belding on the top of the board at a 40.666. That's an interesting lap time, but currently he is at the top of the board, trying to qualify his way into the Great American Race, make it 3 Fortnite Squad Racing Camrys in the field, joining teammates Carson Gum and Dylan Poteet. And here is your 4th and final driver looking to qualify his way in, the former champion of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, Chris Dollerton. We saw him last week take part in the Clash at the LA Coliseum. He's back here again this week at Daytona. Right now, though, looking for a little bit of extra speed as he's 4th of the 4 drivers at a 40.950, and that time by a 951, ran a thousandth slower. Mike Tellier was 3rd at an 858, just jumped up to an 851. He's back up to 2nd place. Autumn Brooks did have 2nd, but now she is 1,000th off at an 852. Can she find an extra 2,000ths here on this lap? No, she will actually go to an 851 as well. She and Tellier are tied for the 2nd position. Belding's coming to pit road. Dollerton's in at a 951. He's got to find an extra 10th or so. And he'll improve to a 949, but that's not going to do it. Let's see what Tellier turns this time. 4,000 slower at an 855. It's all up to Autumn Brooks here. She's got to find an extra 1,000th. Right now, she and Mike Tellier are tied for 2nd at 851s. Can she get it? Yes, improves to an 849. So now Mike Tellier, 2,000ths outside of making his way into the Great American Race. As Belding sits on pit road at 40.666, looking really good for him, and it's really looking like it's coming down to raw speed for these drivers. Nobody getting benefit of draft lap, an extra 3,000 shaved off for Dollerton to a 946, but nowhere close to the cutoff line of 2nd place. 854 for Mike Tellier. That's not going to do it. His lap times are consistently a couple thousand slower every time. Autumn Brooks this time by 1,000th slower than her fastest lap at an 850. It's going to come down literally to thousandths here. 2,000ths. Autumn Brooks over Mike Tellier. Belding safely in right now in the number 1 spot. Chris Dollerton very much so in danger of not making it into the Great American Race. As Tellier loses another thousandth, 855. We'll see if Autumn Brooks also runs slower. If that's the trend, then we may already have our two drivers locked in unless somebody's able to get a heck of a draft lap. Oh, Brooks actually dropped 7 thousandths that lap from an 850 to an 857. Nobody is close to each other. Belding's coming back onto the track. Autumn Brooks might be able to catch up to him, get a draft lap off of him, but right now Belding and Brooks are currently 1-2. That would help Autumn Brooks, though, be able to maybe open up a little bit of a gap between herself and Mike Tellier rather than just being 2,000ths, but it doesn't look like she was able to close up. Still enough space, I think, where it's still going to come down to raw speed, but Charles Belding, definitely the fastest driver of the Go or Go Homers, the non-charter drivers here in Daytona. It'll be interesting to see how he translates that speed over to the pole day qualifying session, which will be coming up immediately following this. The two drivers that transfer from this session will then move over to battle with the other 40 drivers to set the starting line for the Daytona 500. And Mike Tellier just jumped up to second place at an 8:45, and that time by an 8:47, but he now has 2 thousandths over Autumn Brooks. And there's only a minute left in non-charter qualifying. Brooks to an 8:46. Now she's only 1,000th off. Dollarton improved to a 9:43, but he's just not anywhere close to Tellier and Brooks to battle for one of the two transfer positions into the Daytona 500. Mike Tellier, does he throw down the gauntlet even more? Yes, he does. Improves to an 8:41. Now Autumn Brooks has to find 5 thousandths, actually 6 thousandths. 5 thousandths to tie, 6 thousandths to jump to second. And she ties, 8:41. And I am getting word, NNSCRA officials do have a contingency plan in place if we end up having a tie for second to be able to have a tiebreaker. But let's see if Mike Tellier can be the tiebreaker himself. Zero's on the clock. I think they're going to score these two laps here, the lap for Tellier and the lap for Brooks. 8:36 for Mike Tellier. That might have done it. Brooks is going to have to find another 5 thousandths to tie it up and send this into a tiebreaker. Can she do it? Brooks to the line. 8:42 did not improve. Mike Tellier coming in with the lap needed at the very last moment. We won't need the tiebreaker. Mike Tellier is going to be in his second Great American race. And Charles Belding, the fastest here in Go or Go Home qualifying, will also be moving on to run in the Daytona 500. Autumn Brooks' Mazda and Chris Dollarton's Ford will fail to qualify this week at the Daytona International Speedway. And for Autumn Brooks, she'll have to try again next week at Manassas. For Chris Dollarton, I'm not certain the next time we see him might be at Circuit of the Americas in his home state of Texas. We will see Chris Dollarton later on this evening, however, and Autumn Brooks both taking part in the Duracell Ultra Light Series race. Dollarton starting inside the top 10 in 7th. Autumn Brooks starting towards the rear of the field in 28th. But Charles Belding with a 40.666. That is quite a lap time, nowhere close to what anybody else ran. Set the bar and nobody else could match it. Mike Tellier and Autumn Brooks, that was fun to watch their little back and forth. But Mike Tellier with literally zeros on the clock, clocking in with a 8:36 to make it into the Great American Race by a meager 5 thousandths over Autumn Brooks. She and Chris Dollarton will be your DNQs this week at Daytona. Well, we've got our other 40 drivers getting ready to take to the track. They'll be joined by Charles Belding and Mike Tellier. They'll all be running for the pole in just a moment here for tomorrow evening's Great American Race. But before they do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Coverage from Daytona, pole day quality for the Daytona 500, continues in just a moment here on NNSCRA TV. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. We welcome you back to the Daytona International Speedway. Now, last year when we had qualifying for the Cup Series drivers, we ended up having a first round of qualifying, the fastest 10 then moved on to run for the pole. This season, qualifying procedures have changed a bit. We'll have the non-charter drivers run for the 2 available positions. Once those drivers have locked themselves into the field, then 42 drivers will take to the track for an elongated qualifying session, but it will only be 1 round to run for the pole. So our pole sitter, our front row, and the rest of the Daytona 500 grid will be determined at the conclusion of this 20-minute qualifying session. We've got a number of drivers that have already headed out onto the racetrack, including one of the members of our rookie class, the defending Duracell Ultra Light Series driver, Eric Monaco, who moved up to the Cup Series signing with Lake Effect Autosport, and the number 45. Now, this is the car that was formerly the number 44 that Reese Banks drove for the last couple of seasons. And Banks actually had a victory at Talladega Superspeedway. So keep an eye on Monaco here, as of course Eric Monaco would have raced at Daytona last year in the season opener for the Duracell Ultra Light Series. They also ran Armory Digital Superspeedway last season's schedule. Well, we're in Florida, and Dylan Young with the We the Coaster sponsorship got to feature a Florida coaster. How about Busch Garden Tampa's Iron Gwazi on his number 2 out of Young Motorsports this season? It looks like we've got some lap time scrolling in, so with 18 minutes left, we'll bring your ticker up and your timer. Dylan Young last season made it into the playoffs, had a victory, but finished 14th in overall points. He'll look to improve, still for his first Daytona 500. Dylan Young, a Florida native, formerly of the Chicago area, but has yet to win at a home track here in Florida State. He'll be looking here at Daytona, as well as when we eventually go to the Homestead Miami Speedway. Last driver to get a Duracell Cup Series ride, Charter Duracell Cup Series ride, I should say, Daniel Bouchard. We saw him win that North Wilkesboro special event with the modified cars. Michael Norman Motorsports always has good super speedway cars, and we'll see what Daniel is able to do. It's kind of an interesting combination of chocolate there. You've got Hershey's chocolate on the 33 right behind him, the hazelnut chocolate, the Nutella number 99 of Levi McIntyre. Levi, whoa, we got a wreck up here. Oh, gosh! That's Jesse Turner, Dylan Poteet, Matt McIntyre I see in that, Austin LaPlante. Now, these drivers are allowed to get backup cars out and attempt to improve their lap time, but holy cow. Jesse Turner's car is crunched. There's Kyle Matthews as well. We don't normally have to look at replays during a qualifying session, but I think we definitely need to see what exactly went down right there. Let's take a look at what happened through 3 and 4. And it looks like it may start with Matt McIntyre. He may have merged onto the track in front of oncoming traffic. Oh, actually, no. Somebody had an issue. So we're going to focus on the 21. Up ahead, it looked like the 87 of Ryan Brommer, either the car shut off or the engine shut off or something happened. You see Keith Batson stuck behind him. And then Matt McIntyre, I think, is going to turn up the racetrack right here. He's going about 80 miles per hour right in front of oncoming traffic. Kyle Matthews. Oh, Matthews gets into Batson, and then gets up into LaPlante. There's Poteet. Daniel Bouchard goes up and over. Levi McIntyre involved in that, along with Jesse Turner. Big hits taken there. A couple of cars went flipping. But now those teams going to have to scramble to get out the backup cars. You can get out your backup cars, set laps. You do not forfeit where you are currently running on the board, and you can try and improve. And I guess with the elongated qualifying session now, that's going to help drivers in being able to prepare for something like this, to get that backup car out quickly enough and have enough time to be able to go out there and, if not necessarily turn the fastest lap to get the pole position, at least get out there and have an idea of what your backup car is going to do. As you saw Destin Bolin in the 0-2 heading for pit road, his third full-time season with Young Motorsports, but first time in the 0-2. His 2 previous seasons he was in the 12 car, was a 3-time winner back in season 6 in his rookie campaign. Casey Hoyt, 3-time winner in his rookie campaign last year, the defending Rookie of the Year. Now moving over from Lake Effect Autosport to Northeast Motorsports in the Raising Cane's Chevrolet. Right now, Casey is the fastest on track at a 39.041, so hoping that holds up to start from the pole position. Casey Hoyt last year was a 2-time pole sitter. And right now, James Qualls would share the outside of the front row with him. Qualls at a 39.200 for his best lap. New look on the Castrol GTX number 70 this year. A little bit more black in the paint scheme there, along with the signature red and green of the Castrol GTX sponsorship. There you see Levi McIntyre in the 99. We know he was involved in that wreck through 3 and 4. Looks like they have gotten the backup car out already, as cameras focused on Reggie Fogelman, the pink and white 5-hour Energy Toyota Camry. We saw Fogelman last season run, just before the playoffs and the entirety of the playoffs for Haas Racing in the number 80, non-charter capacity. Now he's a chartered driver. It will be interesting to watch Haas Racing here because they actually have 2 Daytona 500 victories. Matt Haas and last season, Matthew Rodriguez, and a non-chartered number 80 Toyota ended up going to victory lane. Eventually ended up kind of bouncing around in the 17 out of Bishop Family Racing, their Ford Mustang, as well as the 24 out of Northeast Motorsports, but made his way up into the Final 4 to compete for the championship. Finished 4th in overall standings. A driver that started out the year planning on running as a non-charter part-time driver. And what a difference one race made for him. RJ Bishop and the number 98, the Kroger Crafted Mac and Cheese Ford GT500 out of Young Motorsports. Right now 7th on the board for him. RJ, a former winner last year, but that win took place during the playoffs. He'll look to win much earlier on in the season, try and get back into the chase for the championship. Nick Gunther in the 55. Same as he said for him, a 2-time winner last season, but he was unable to get himself into a playoff position. Nick Gunther's actually up there in the top 10 for most all-times wins in the Duracell Cup Series. I believe he's either 6 or 7-time winner. I want to say a 7-time winner in Duracell Cup Series competition. And right behind him, a driver that a lot of people are keeping an eye on this week, and that is Summer Henson, because last week she shocked everybody, had a great battle in lap traffic with Levi McIntyre, bested the veteran, and picked up her first career win, albeit a non-points win, in the Clash at the Coliseum. And Summer Henson looking fast here in Daytona, as she just jumped up to 4th on the board at a 39.086. Casey Hoyt is no longer the fastest here in Daytona. Michael Norman at a 39.039 now currently has the pole, as we see Dylan Poteet career year for him last year with 2 trips to victory lane. Was in the final 4 to compete for the championship, the highest that he's been in Duracell Cup Series competition in terms of standings placement. And it will be interesting to see here for Fortnite Squad Racing. We saw Charles Belding had a very fast car. He's actually on the right side of your screen back there. Belding going to be one of 3 Fortnite Squad Racing cars in the field here this week, with them moving over from Chevrolet to Toyota. What will the adaptation be like for those drivers? LaPlante, I know, was involved in that wreck. I think Poti was as well, so these are both backup cars, and it's showing. Right now, LaPlante is 24th on the board. Poteet is 25th. Austin LaPlante last year, one of the more consistent drivers that wasn't able to find victory lane. Pointed his way into the playoffs, finished 11th in overall standings. He wants to get back to victory lane, though, as he's going to get taken 3 wide. Matt McIntyre, you know, if I compiled a list in my head of 5 drivers that I felt were not able to win last year that were going to win this year, and Matt McIntyre was up near the top of the list. He showed a lot of speed towards the second half of the season. He dominated Hanford before hitting the wall and having a long pit stop that lost him all his track position. He was running down Levi McIntyre, maybe needed another lap or 2 to be able to catch him and maybe pass him at Arizona. Matt McIntyre, I think this season, back again with Michael Norman Motorsports, I think this could be a breakout year for the driver of the 21. It was a breakout year for Jessica Shelton, and she's looking to continue that momentum. Failed to qualify for the Clash at the Coliseum last week, but she's bringing back the winning speed here to Daytona when points are on the line. She just jumped to the top of the board at a 38.974. Jessica Shelton continuing the streak to 3 straight seasons that S3 Motorsports has won the championship. It was obviously her first career championship, also her first season with 3 victories, and an unbelievable statistical season for her as well. 3 wins, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s. Remember, too, she had to make her way into the playoffs through a wild card spot because she got that early victory on fuel strategy at Chicagoland, but a lot of her other finishes were so poor, she was fighting just to stay in the top 30 in the standings. But once the playoffs began, she turned up the wick, dominated the season finale at Michigan to pick up the championship. Nobody was able to touch her in the Irish Hills. It was also Dodge's first and ever championship in the Duracell Cup Series as well. Well, Charles Belding qualified his way in through the go or go home qualifying session earlier on, and he's making the most of it. Right now, he is 6th on the board. We saw last year go or go home drivers really make the most of the opportunity of qualifying their way into the show. Matthew Rodriguez went on to win the race. Mike Tellier finished inside of the top 10. We'll have to see where Tellier is on the board here in just a moment. If I can quickly scan, looks like he is 17th. There's a former Daytona 500 winner, and Matt Haas, who right now, though, is 38th on the speed charts. If he can get in with this group that's reeling him, he might be able to improve his lap time, but Matt Haas last season finished 36th in overall points, so he's looking for a bounce-back year. Ooh, throws a little bit of a block there on Jessica Shelton. Shelton's got her teammate Kyle Matthews there. Well, did. Matthews now jumps up to the top side. Kyle was involved in that wreck over there in 3 and 4, so this is a backup car as he is currently 29th on the speed charts. You want to talk about a hometown driver? Cody Lamas in the 84 out of Llama Racing. Right now 10th on the board for him. Had a good outing at the LA Coliseum Clash last week. And he has been slowly improving ever since moving over as an owner driver to Llama Racing, as he and Matt McIntyre are going to make some contact. Matt trying to pit from the second lane. But Cody Lamas last season, 23rd in overall points. Still looking for that first win as an owner driver, though. As Charles Sanford, too, is outside there. The former champion from Season 6. Charles Sanford last year, 25th in overall points. Maybe that championship slump that we always seem to talk about. Ryan Brommer, now the elder statesman over at Auto Junction Racing, with Ryan Butcher departing the team. Ryan Brommer, of course, the runner-up for the championship back in Season 2 to Ryan Acosta. And it's been a while since we've seen Ryan Brommer go to victory lane. I mentioned about that list I had of top 5 drivers that I expect that haven't won in a long time to go back to victory lane. Ryan Brommer is on that list for me, so we'll see if that pans out. Keith Batson in the Sprite machine. We saw him stuck behind Ryan Brommer when Brommer was having that issue on the back straightaway. Right now, 22nd for Keith Batson. Batson last year pointed his way into the playoffs, finished 9th in overall standings as he's coming to pit road. Only 4.5 minutes left here, and right now Jessica Shelton, Michael Norman would be your front row unless something changes. Carson Gum, another former Daytona 500 winner. The last of the Fortnite Squad Racing cars that yet to feature. Right now he is 38th on the charts though, so he'd have a lot of cars to pass. So too would Caleb Fogler, who looked really good last week in the LA Coliseum Clash. He was the driver that picked up the most spots during the course of that race. Former champion in his own right from Season 5 when he and Kyle Matthews and Stephen Paul III all took the championship over at S3 Motorsports. Nathan Ormond had a victory last year at Watkins Glen, but that was really the only highlight of his season when he finished 41st in overall points, failed to qualify for a couple of races because he was so far down in the standings and wasn't able to rely on owner points to get him into the field. He'll look to bounce back this year. Connor Breton, 3-time winner last season as a rookie, including winning one of the Crown Jewel races, the Coke 600 at Charlotte. He'll look for in his second full-time season with the Northeast Motorsports organization to build off of that, have another great year. Nick Gunther, we're going to see him later on tonight running the All-Star car for Garage 55 in the Light Series. Right now he is in the 5th position, and his teammate Anthony McCurry is kitty-corner to him. Anthony, though, was only to 40th place. So it looks like he would start very deep in the field if things don't change in the next 2 3/4 minutes. Laura Chung, 3rd full-time season with Auto Junction Racing. Right now 21st on the board for her. 18th for Benjamin Snyder, who makes his return to the Cup Series. Now with Blue Oval Automotive, and there's his teammate right behind him, Zachary Fitzwater, the Season 6 Rookie of the Year. Fitzwater right now 11th on the chart. Daniel Voiles to his outside, back with World NOS Racing. Single car Dark Horse Mustang out of that Ford organization. We'll see Jack Mitchell later on tonight as well in the All-Star car out of Adrenaline Motorsports. Right now he is 26th on the chart. Of course, Jack Mitchell, one of a number of drivers that was able to secure a charter for this season to run full-time for the Cup Series Championship. Jesse Turner, the very familiar U.S. Air Force colors on the very familiar number 47. Turner 5th in overall points last year, former winner from last year as well. Right now 23rd on the speed charts for him. There is your current outside pole sitter for the Daytona 500 with the WWE sponsorship. That's Michael Norman in the 22. Flashy colors there. Another Florida native in the field. Alexander Rowe, former Duracell Cup Series driver from Season 4, I believe it was, Season 3 or Season 4, makes his return. Now with Lake Effect Autosport in the number 46. This is the number 74 car that Casey Hoyt put in victory lane 3 times last year, rebranded to the number 46. And Quentin Moore, former Duracell Cup Series winner in his rookie season at Dover back in Season 6. 3rd full-time season with Joanna Atwood Motorsports. New sponsorship, though, with Love's Travel Stops on his Chevrolet Camaro. Kyler Sustre Last season was a winner as a non-charter driver for his own team, now over with Haas Racing as a chartered member. 22nd on the board right now for him and his Toyota. It's probably some drivers that we failed to talk about. There's a couple of them there. Eric Sadler in the 12 out of Young Motorsports, one of the rookies this season, battling for Rookie of the Year honors. Benjamin Miles, who got the pole position and ran well last week at the LA Coliseum's Clash. Right now 41st on the board though for him. There's Joshua Osborne leaving pit road. 4th full-time season, I believe it is for him. For Joanna Atwood Motorsports, he's 30th on the board right now. Cole Deaver is last in the 3-car out of S3 Motorsports. As right now, it looks like Jessica Shelton and Michael Norman are officially going to be the front row for tomorrow's Daytona 500. The defending champion going to start the first points-paying race of Season 8, where she finished the last points-paying race of Season 7, P1. As you see, zeros on the clock. How about Summer Henson clocking in 3rd place? She'll be the highest starting rookie. Casey Hoyt and Nick Gunther right now, like they will be the top 5 in your starting lineup. And then go home driver Charles Belding going to roll off from the 6th position. But there you see it. Session is complete. Times are locked in. And this is the way that they are going to look in tomorrow's Daytona 500. This is your official starting lineup. Jessica Shelton, the only driver to reach sub-39s at a 38.974, is going to capture the pole position, the first pole of the season. Michael Norman's going to share the front row with the defending champ, Summer Henson, and Casey Hoyt. One driver that could be in the Rookie of the Year battle, could be Rookie of the Year this year, and the defending Rookie of the Year, sharing row number 2. Mazda of Nick Gunther will be in 5th, and Charles Belding is going to be 6th. Great qualifying effort for him. Carried that speed over from knockout Q earlier on in the session to the main event qualifying session, if you will, here with the 42-car field. RJ Bishop, going to be a good qualifying effort for him, as he'll be 7th. Charles Sanford will be 8th. Eric Monaco, the defending defending Duracell Light Series driver, champion, going to have a good qualifying start in 9th. And Cody Lamas is going to be the completion of the top 10. I could say there's big names starting towards the rear of the field, but there are a lot of big names in this field, so really can't say that. But a lot of drivers going to have to work their way up through traffic. I see back there a former Daytona 500 winner, and Carson Gum in 39th. So it'll be interesting to see him make his way up there. Matt Haas starting back in 32nd place. So a couple of our former Daytona 500 winners going to have some work to do tomorrow afternoon. But the good news for all these drivers, didn't matter if they qualified first or 41st, they were all going to take part in the Daytona 500 tomorrow afternoon. Well, points are now on the line. Our qualifying sessions are concluded. Later on tonight, it's the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers at 7 p.m. as they will begin their journey towards the championship. Of course, they've got playoffs this season as well, so whoever ends up winning later on this evening could be vying for a wild card spot. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, a lot of season to go before we get to that point. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is the 8th annual running of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series Great American Race Daytona 500. Jessica Shelton would love to go coast to coast and start out the season, one season removed from her championship season, with a Daytona 500 victory, but 41 other drivers are going to want to topple those dreams. Thank you all for tuning in to this qualifying session from Daytona. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become a part of the crew today. We have shown you what your qualifying results look like in preparation for tomorrow's Great American Race, and we will see you guys later on tonight for the Daytona 300, the first race of the season for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers. Until then, though, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV Offline Racing at its best.
following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.